After I'd come back from an audition in America, it was kind of like this now or never feeling of like, yo, I'm going to start making music. And I just started like put all my money into studio sessions and started trying it really.
Free big brother slim. 2019 got cold with the gym. New bitch, she don't got no manners. She know I've been drinking, come fuck with the scammers. Tim Allen, how I walk with the hammer.
I just wanted to talk shit for a living. I love to talk. So I was just like, bro, that's that presenter or that person went to that school. Okay, cool. I want to go to that school. Just saw the audition, did it, happened.
Yeah, you're just attracted to the arts.
And it felt like in the school that I was in, it was kind of like I was the outsider for being artistic. Whereas in all these other things that I'm seeing, it's like, that's the norm. And I was like, yo, I want to just experience that once.
Is there any like just like figures that you looked up to growing up?
There was not really a specific inspiration that made me go, yo, I want to do this thing. But it's just the generals of like, yo, seeing Michael Jackson dance, like being like, yo, that is insane. Like, like when I first clocked onto Tyler the Creator, that was way later. Do you know what I mean? That spark, like listening to Drake in like, it sounds so stupid. I was in year 6. I don't know how old I was. I was like 11, 10. But I remember being in like golden time. I don't know if you know what that is. Like when you get your own time to do what you want in school.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like on the computer typing in like Fancy Her by Drake, like listening to the lyrics type shit. And I was only just about to go into high school. So it was like one of those ones where, like I'd always had a love for music and just found inspiration in loads of things. Like I remember there was a Lil Wayne phase, like everything he wore, I was like, bro, like the glasses popped out, like I wanted to have that drip. Like, so I feel like there was a lot of different people, but it was always just that urge to do something that mattered. I think that was my biggest inspiration. Like seeing all of those people make a difference was like, yo, I want to do that.
Was there any form of media you were consuming like more at the time just growing up? Like TV, movies, music, or like was it just a mix of everything?
Loads of music. My whole family, I feel like there's always been music around me in my life. And like I always used to love just watching music videos. Like there was channels on TV, like there was this channel called AKA.
Yeah.
And it had like a bunch of like British grime stuff. And then obviously there's MTV and stuff that I was on. And I used to, the cartoons, all that stuff. But I used to love wrestling. I still have this weird little like connection, but like I used to watch wrestling all the time, like as well.
WWE?
Yeah. But then even like WWE, TNA, like random point I started watching like New Japan, like Japanese wrestling, where it's like a bit more like they're really hitting each other really and like people actually bleeding, like but it got, I don't know how I literally at my grandma's, I feel like there was one point when we were supposed to be asleep and then I think TNA or something was on, like TNA was on TNT or it was on a weird channel or something. I remember watching it.
Later, be like 11 at night
but I remember watching it in the UK and being like, what the fuck? Like, this is insane.
Oh man, that is steel meat and skull.
Seeing everyone with their face paint, like that's when I first saw Jeff Hardy, and I was like, bro, like, mind blown. Like I was walking into school like, yo, that was like my character. Like,
it feels like the thread to me is that you really admired people that were just authentically themselves and put themselves out there. Whether it's Wayne, MJ, Jeff Hardy, real individuals.
You feel me? 100%. That's literally, I think I've always been drawn to like individuals that have something that makes them unique, or there's a reason why they're different. Like, I love different. I don't know how to explain it, but anything that's different, I like really admire it. Even if like I don't do it, or I couldn't dress like in a certain way, or if there's someone that has like a mad fashion sense where they wear massive clothes, or someone wears like something small, I can always see the beauty and everything and like admire people's creativity.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about that stuff is just like people trying things. I feel like in society now people don't really like try, but people like that are just like huge figures that like stick with you your entire life that you kind of think about. But like when you're like structuring like what you want to do now in your career, do you like go back and it like have like more of like a mental checklist, like younger me would really like this would just go crazy? Sometimes
I feel like it's more when specific moments happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like more when I started working closely with 2K, WWE 2K, the connection was literally through NBA 2K. Words can't even really explain how excited we are. The Own Brand Freestyle is featuring on NBA 2K23 is like life-changing.
Crazy.
Gotta go see the city. Like I took so much inspiration from just playing wrestling games, and the music specifically, even just the wrestling itself, the music culture really kind of like helped me hear this complete different music that in the UK I wouldn't really hear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
was
really
it like a lot of rock music?
A lot of rock, a lot of alternative, like a lot of just even like the theme song, like even just some random stuff back in the day that I was just like, yo, what is that? Like cult of personality, like the CM Punk thing. I was like, well, what is that? Like just going out and like researching all these songs and then thinking, oh, it kind of felt like, to me, it was like a game. Like I was just adding badges. Like every time I was unlocking, like diving deeper into someone else's culture or understanding like a whole different scene, it felt like I was just applying like badges onto myself.
Yeah, but like alternative to that, like you were talking about your music journey, you also still listen to like rap and hip hop a lot. Like Drake, Lil Wayne,
all the time,
and stuff like that. What was like the first artist you started to listen to? Did it start WWE or was it just like?
Nah, I feel like technically, like I said, then in year 6, it would have been Drake that I put on. But the first CD I went out and bought was a Tyler the Creator CD. Is it the one with the cat? Is that Tron Cat? Is that even a CD? Wait.
Well,
isn't that the Odd Future?
It's a song.
Odd Future. I think Odd Future. Yeah, that was the
cool.
first CD that I'd ever bought in the UK. And I remember like that was the first time that I'd ever heard of Tyler the Creator. And then I was like, I was low-key kind of scared of the tape. I was like, this is kind of like wild. And then I don't even know what happened. But by the time I'd hit high school, I was listening to like Tamale. Like I was fully like in this Odd Future bubble of like how like all these people around me don't know what the fuck I'm listening to, but I'm kind of like relating to these kids across the world. And I was only like 13, 12, but it just always, it like proper like changed the way I looked at things, the way I wanted to dress, the way I...
Yeah. Were you mostly inspired by Tyler or did you like other people like Frank, Earl?
Frank, I can't lie. At the point, it was really... Tyler was the start, but then I got so like into Earl Sweatshirt, and then Frank Ocean was when it kind of stemmed into like my love for art. And I proper started to like understand all of this different stuff and all this music. And then I kind of like on random websites, I'd find like songs that he didn't release. And that's like the first time I'd ever heard of like unreleased music at like my age. And I was like, that's mad. And then I started getting into Mac Miller. And then I heard about like his alter ego where he's making like jazz music. And like, there was just so many like sub things that I like had stemmed off of that sort of music taste. And then when by the time all Carti and all that stuff come through, then like I was waiting. I was ready for it. Like I'd already been. Like,
I feel like
Travis, all this stuff.
We had very similar like musical journeys in terms of what we listened to. We always talk about like everybody had a phase where Wayne was their favorite rapper. When I really first started listening to hip hop, it was Wayne, and then like the goats. You know what I mean? Jay-Z, 50 Cent, shit like that. But then when I was in like what we call middle school, like 12, 13. Huge Mac Miller fan, and I was like really into all the alter ego stuff too. Like I think it was Larry Lovestein,
bro,
Delusional Thomas, all that shit. Yeah, and really see how someone can reinvent themselves.
That's what made me really like Tyler as well, because he had all of those characters, 100%. Bro. Yeah. But it was one of those things of like you said, like when you're younger, you're always gonna hear like Lil Wayne, everything that's relevant at that time. I understood, like I'd heard, but it's when I kind of had that choice to figure out what I wanted to listen to. I made that choice, and then as I grew up a little bit further, it's when I'd look back at Lil Wayne and be like, bro, maybe he was one of the greatest rappers of all time. Like this is insane. Like everyone else stems from him. Low key. Do you know what I mean? So it was really like
for real
going on these different journeys. And now when people like who influences you, I have to like strip it all the way down and be like, okay, who made me want to make music? And then that's like some UK people. The people that inspired me musically aren't necessarily the people that made me want to make music. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of fucked.
Do you have like a personal top 5 of just like artists in general that are like in hip hop and then like outside?
Probably off the top, if I like, not in order, it'll be like Drake, Lil Wayne, Young Thug. Oh, but see, look, 5. Like, there's not much left. There's no room left. Drake, Young Thug, Lil Wayne, Tyler. Carti, but it's like, that's so hard. Like,
I mean, honestly, that's probably.
But that's American. Close. That's the American one. Yeah. And then if this UK, like the people that actually made me want to make music, is Lancey Foe. Literally, when I heard about it, that was the first time I saw someone who's from the ends wearing like skinny jeans, didn't give a fuck what anyone was saying, and wasn't making like real rap, or I don't even know if drill was like
grime.
Do you know what I mean? He was doing something different. So it was Lancey, House of Pharaohs from the UK group, King Cruel from the UK, Skepta, because he's the GOAT. You know what I mean? Skepta's the guy that I was like, this is nuts. And then James Blake. And they were the UK people that made me want to make music. Like,
that's fire.
Because of them. Like,
our US one is like very, very similar. Like if I had to, like, I don't know, I'd probably put, I'm not like a crazy Young Thug person personally, but like
I had to get old when I got older, or when I started dancing. That's when I really looked back and was like his flow, it's another thing.
Like he's definitely different, and he's a huge pioneer. Like, I don't even know who else I'd put in that slot, but I think the other four
I would have to put Future in there.
That's the thing. The thing is, I love Future, but I'd always went to Thug first. I feel like
from an artist perspective, like I think Thug's a little bit more like.
I had to start, like, it sounds tapped, but I feel like when I started smoking is when I fully got Future. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Thug, I just always felt it.
Because, I mean, like, also we were talking about when you started getting into artists like Future and Cardi and stuff like that. That was probably around the age I started smoking, too. Yeah. And then I'm listening to more trap music, and I, like, used to be listening to more, like, Mac Miller, Odd Future.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, probably could be a coincidence, but it kind of makes sense.
Bro, there was a phase when I'm really thinking about it. It was like Mac Miller, Tyler, the Creator, Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap. Do you know what I mean? It was that. Yeah. But I feel like everyone's kind of had that moment, do you know what I mean, in hip hop. Like.
And then it definitely switched to like Cardi and Uzi as like the biggest artists.
And then X, I forgot X. Like that's a massive influence as well. Like he's one of those ones.
And he was even like after Cardi and everybody. So it's kind of hard. I always like to like prioritize the people that I listen to like really early, which would be like when I was really young, like Lil Wayne, Drake, and Future. Like those are probably the three biggest dudes. So that would just have to be in the top three. And then like the newer generation, or like I guess like middle 2010s, like whatever you want, like Cardi, X, whatever. Like I feel like that's fair. Like,
I feel like Skepta's one of those guys that everyone from the UK can understand that like if he didn't do it,
he's just a crazy.
It would be so much harder for any of us. It would be so much harder for us to even do it, or it probably wouldn't even be happening right now. Like he is one of those tastemakers, pioneers, like made it possible so we could even cut through and you lot aren't laughing at our accents type shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like he made it not corny to be British. Like, you know what I mean?
Which is crazy to say because it's like a big country with like a lot of influence.
It's mad.
But it is true that people like Americans would look at UK rap a certain way. And it is definitely, generally speaking, like taken a lot more seriously now. And he definitely has a big part to do with that. Yeah. I think so.
When did you start listening to Lancey though?
I think it was like, when did About It come out? Like 2016. Literally, I need to check this. Like literally, that first song that came out, I remember I was in year 8. I was at school, and it was like, you know, when it was like school discos or something. I remember everyone on their BBM was sending me like, "Yo, this song just dropped on." Did it drop on someone's channel? Like, I feel like it. I just remember because I was still young at this point. I remember
disco,
a lot of people
like a Discord.
No, it was on his channel 8 years ago.
Huh? Like a dance.
Like a school. That was like a school dance. Like everyone was just talking about music.
You said like people were like dropping like
BBM, like BBM. Everyone was saying like, yo, new track, like listen to this song type shit. Everyone was just sending pin, like, what's it called? Yeah, everyone was just pinging about. It was mad. But yeah, when About It first came out, I remember that's the time I wanted to go to Teen Fest. Like, is this stupid? I don't even know why the fuck it exists now. But like, there was a little like under 16 event, like you can go party. But I remember everyone was like, bro, that song just came on there. Like,
we gotta go.
That's cool. It was mad. Like, that was the flex. Like, if you knew the words first, you were flexing in school type shit. Like,
that's fire that they were playing Lancey at like,
no, but it's literally
parties,
like
so.
I was the first kind of person that I was rooting for from the UK, that I was like, yo, when they hear them here, like it's long, like and then I went to his show in LA, like, was it 2 years ago or last year? 2 years ago, 2022, bro. Seeing that many people from America, like just screaming his name, like doing all the songs, knowing all the songs, like Skep came, bro, wild.
I'm curious, when you started performing too, like if you take it back even to like the talent show days, did your confidence come naturally, or were you nervous like the first time you were performing?
I feel like, not to sound like cocky or some bullshit, but I feel like I've always been like a naturally confident kid. Like, you know, one of those kids that would be like, oh, someone dance, and I'll just start trying to do a front flip, doing extra shit for no reason. Like, I always felt that, but maybe like it only really exudes when I'm either speaking or I'm doing something. So if I'm just chilling, I kind of look like, I kind of get lost in the crowd. Well, I used to kind of get lost in the crowd type of stuff, but as soon as I'd have that spotlight, that moment,
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this. Let me just.
I mean,
do
definitely
it. Like,
when you came in here, like you're like very calm. But
Yeah,
then once
you
we
just
get in
chilled.
this shit, it's just really
Yeah, bro,
going.
I was fried as
You
well,
definitely
can't
got like
lie.
you definitely got a presence though. I mean, just because your style and everything
you,
is
thank
fire.
you.
But
I feel you, bro. Even just before, like, just when I'm getting my makeup done in general, I'm just so used to just being like quiet. I don't know. I'm just I've always just been like that, like kind of just taking that moment just to like reset, just chill, and then I kind of like switch on. But
Yeah. In terms of just like music for yourself, when did you start making music then?
I started like freestyling and taking the piss like 2019. No, 2020. Yeah, like end of 2019. I was just like freestyling with my friends, taking the piss, like messing about. And then it was like 2020 when I was like, yo, like let's really get like active sort of stuff. But it was, I don't remember like the date specifically, but it was like literally after I'd come off a job or after I'd come back from an audition in America. It was kind of like this now or never feeling of like, yo, I'm going to start making music. And I just started like put all my money into studio sessions and started trying it really.
what were you auditioning for? Like a role as a dancer?
Yeah, literally there was a Justin Bieber tour happening and then there was an audition, all of that stuff going on. And then COVID happened and the whole tour everything just went left. But yeah, it kind of that moment of being like, I don't really want to wait for somebody else to pay me. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to wait for somebody else to tell me, oh, okay, I can survive type shit. So it was like, yo, I've got to now or never. And luckily I lived at home with my mum still. So it was like, all right, cool. I was 18 at the time, 19, 18 at the time. I was 18 at the time.
Because how old are you now?
22.
When you were dancing, when you're like 18, 19, did you look at that as something that like you wanted a full career in, like you were getting work, going hard? Or
when I started dancing like as a full career was 16. So at 16 is when I started full-time dancing as a career and kind of started like doing different tours, dancing behind different artists.
Cool. Who are some of the artists you went on tour with?
I went on tour with Years and Years. I did a couple jobs abroad with Mabel. I did a UK tour with Spice Girls. Did some performances like EMAs with like Nicki Minaj, Jason Derulo. Did Stormzy, Glastonbury, stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, just like a bunch of little dance.
You get to meet like Stormzy.
Yeah.
What
do you say, sorry?
You get to meet Stormzy or Nicki.
Yeah, bro.
They were cool.
I feel like that was the moment when it was like, the Stormzy was the moment when it really hit.
Yeah.
Like it was one of my boys who choreographed it as well. So it was one of those moments like it was all of the man them on stage, like a bunch of people that stereotypically all of us weren't really booked in the industry because I don't know why, but it's like they wouldn't put too many of us like, all on a job at the same time. But it's like this was the first job that like one of my boys was in charge and he had the power to like literally put all of the street dance boys on the job and we literally like we showed it. You know what I mean? And there was a moment where it kind of industry kind of felt a bit different. Like we started to like cut through, we started to get more commercial jobs. Do you know what I mean? And it started to, we weren't just like the niche dance group sort of thing.
Is Stormzy big as shit in person too?
Massive, bro. Can't lie, he's tall. Like, so many artists are crazy tall. Like Lancey as well, bro.
Yeah.
Can't lie. I thought I was tall, but these men are like,
Nah, Lancey's big, like
these men are like, bro. I thought I was tall still, but yeah, a lot of artists are tall.
So like when like Please Say Yes came out and stuff like that, that was like the first song you ever like put out? Really?
What's it called? Yeah. So PSL was the first song that I'd released.
MJ the Jackson, not Jordan, we back to the bone, yeah, we back to the flesh.
But Two Wardrobes, which was the third song I released, was the first song that I'd recorded.
Oh, okay.
So it went like, I recorded Two Wardrobes, then I recorded PSL, and then I recorded Own Brand Freestyle. So it went like that, but it went in the order of PSL released, and then Own Brand Freestyle, and then Two Wardrobes. But Own Brand Freestyle is the one that, when it went on TikTok, it like went.
Yeah.
And then I was able to just do music full time off of that song.
Crazy.
So that was the moment where it was like I didn't have a long time to really like be trying to like figure out what I wanted to do, because as soon as I like did the second song, it kind of went itself. So I kind of had to like strategize on the way, sort of thing.
That's just kind of crazy though. Like the second song you ever release, just like a fucking.
And it was
hit.
a freestyle. Like we was just taking the piss. Like we was just in the studio, just vibing type of thing. But it's mad.
Did you have any idea, like, in this, like, I think, like...
anyone who tells you that they knew it was going to be a banger, they either have to already be up or they're, like, it's crazy. Because, bro, like, we could all say that we want it to be successful, but it's all like, it's literally like I'm saying, no one knows. You all like, you just wish, you hope for it to do it. But
I mean, it's the same thing about anybody making anything. Like, you kind of just, like, if you know how to make shit that you know is good, you just repeat the same process for everything.
But I didn't even know if it was good because it was my second song, and it was a freestyle. So it was one of those ones where it was like, in my eyes, that was gonna be my welcome to the scene, like to the UK rap scene that was bubbling. Like that was gonna be like my this is my first song, like what's up type thing. But then it kind of just, it became more than that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. When you saw like the TikTok shit kind of popping, how long was that after the release of the song?
I feel like it was like in the first week it started to bubble.
Yeah.
First week it literally started to bubble, and then it was like the second week it went.
It was over.
By the second week it was like every day there was a video type thing. And
that's crazy. You're like just like friends and peers sending you that shit the entire time.
It was, I think that was the maddest moment. But then even like my niece, like she's literally like, she was at the time, I think she was like 10, but she showed me the thing. She was like all my friends are dancing to the song on TikTok. Like they're all saying, wow, like, is that really your uncle? And I was like, oh, okay. Like, that's when I thought like, okay, cool. Like it's really starting to cross over and make noise. Like,
yeah. But in the studio where you just felt like you were like Drea snapped, like she just went crazy on it.
We just, everyone at the time.
Fun.
Yeah, realistically, no one really, at first I was literally just in the studio with Finch. We was just doing the song type shit. We were just going crazy. And then she must have pulled up and she's like, yo, can I hop on type stuff? And I was like, yeah, say less, let's hop on, like let's do it.
That's so crazy.
And we ran it up.
And then it was just like within like a month it was like the biggest song.
Something like that.
How did you kind of strategize after that to kind of make sure that you take advantage of the moment? Because you said like in that moment, flip the switch in your head that like this is a career now.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't even, I didn't really even take that thing of like, I need to strategize, like make this moment work and use this to propel me to this thing. I was still just mind blown at the fact that like this moment was making it possible for me to make music full time.
Yeah. And
I was still trying to understand that, okay, cool, I'm not going dance studio anymore. Like I'm not going rehearsals anymore. Like what am I going to do in my spare time? Like, okay, that was my second freestyle. I should get in the studio. Like, I need to start recording music. Like that's always where I was at. And it was like, even though it might sound like I'm capping, like even in the moment, it didn't faze me at all. I feel like after it happened is when I really look back and I'm like, oh, that was nuts. But in that moment, it was just a thing of like this is sick. I'm not letting this define me. Like, let's keep going. Like, this is not the journey that I'm ready to take. Do you know what I mean? Like right now, everything's looking real clear. It's looking real like we can capitalize off this, do the exact same sound, do this, do something else that sounds like that to make people like this. But I was like, do I want to just do that forever, or do I want to kind of let people know that I'm doing this from more of an artistic place than a business standpoint? Do you know what I mean?
I feel like that's why people loved it, because it was just so artistic and like free flowing, and it could like people could dance to it, do whatever they really want to, and just have fun. Like I feel like that's why it really hit. But I feel like also at that point it's kind of just like there's not a decision to be made, right? Like if the song's that successful, you're like, all right, like the decision's clear to kind of just continue to just like make music and have fun with it.
Yeah, man.
So in terms of just like dropping single after single, you were just in the studio after that?
Yeah, it was a thing of like, as soon as I had a little bit of money to spend, I got my little setup, like my laptop, mic, speakers, and started like just watching YouTube videos on people recording themselves and learning how to like kind of engineer and figure it out. Got a couple presets, started like trying to figure it out myself. And that's when I kind of went on the journey of like, like at that point I've never touched auto-tune, never like consider myself as like a singer, still don't, like I'm just like an expresser. But at that time I didn't even want to experiment with it. But then it was kind of like through those coming months, messing around with music, being like, if I like this music so much, why can't I try and make some music inspired by that, or like try a different sound? And then that's when I started making different styles of music, and then like just finding what I wanted to do.
Sick. For another on-brand question too, when that shit went on Fortnite, were you just like, what the fuck?
The thing is, I wasn't that lit. Like when Oman dropped on it, I wasn't that like that much of a bang out at Fortnite. Like I knew how big of a moment it was. I was like, this is crazy.
I mean, it's like the biggest,
bro.
I think it's technically like the biggest game like ever.
Bro, it is
based on
it
like
is.
on total
insane.
Players.
But bro,
I don't know. But I don't know.
I believe. I mean, that shit was ran college.
Nah, 100%. But it was a moment of like, I think like a year later, I just downloaded it for fun, and I got really into the game. And then like
You didn't
people were
play it
killing me.
before?
Someone were killing me, and I'd hear my song. Like that's the kind of stuff when I was like, no, this is insane. Like it wasn't even like a specific game, but it was just the idea of having my music in a game because I love gaming.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it was a thing of that was mad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Few 13-year-olds have probably killed me, and I heard your shit after that. No cap. But in terms of like 2K and stuff like that too, like it was like, was that bigger than Fortnite to you then?
I can't lie. I used at that point specifically, I was playing NBA 2K every night, career mode, grinding. Like I was going crazy. So when the new game came out and then the update with the song, bro, I was pumped. Like I was ready. Like you know when at the end when you see your stats and then it kind of just plays the instrumental, it doesn't even play the song. I was letting that bitch run. Like I was dum, like I had my little face scan, bro. It felt legit. That was the one where I was like, this is nuts, like crazy.
I don't even know what the fuck I would do about it.
And even when you're walking through the city, like it will just be playing, or then you just put your headphones on, and you start playing. Like, bro, that was crazy.
What happened like when just like everybody hits you up though? Like, did old friends or anything like that hit you up?
The thing is, it's not as like glamorous as people think. Not a lot of people, like a lot of artists that like I feel like I admire personally hit me up. A lot of people from the UK hit me up. A lot of like my peers now in the scene that I'm in. But no like crazy people hit me like, yo, like this is nuts, or like family members or stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like I just got quite a lot of support from my country, you know what I mean? Like my people, like that was cool shit. Yeah, that was cool as well.
I feel like you're UK heavy for sure. Like a lot of the brands you wear are like UK.
Yeah,
and, like, you always rep for the UK.
That's what I've tried to say. Like every single video that we've shot, I'm wearing a UK brand. Right now, I'm wearing a UK brand. You know what I mean? So like, I'm always repping. Like, I feel like it's one of the ones like, I'm just like, it's just sick that we're from one place and we can do something and change the culture of the world, or like we can do stuff and we can really make noise. And it's like, yo, if I can wear a t-shirt or wear a jacket that I really fuck with and put someone else on, why wouldn't I? And especially if I feel like a lot of the clothes that I wear, I'm wearing it because I really feel like this represents me. So it's like, it's sick that a lot of the designers are British.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
UK and New York definitely are like super interlocked with like their own designers. Like a lot of the like big brands right now, or like designers that are coming up, it's like all New York based. Yeah. And in the UK, all London based. LA is popular too, but LA is like a little bit more like, I don't know, like rugbies, flannels, like.
See, I need to tap more into like the American fashion, because I feel like a lot of the time I've been looking at like, when I'm like looking at designers or clothes and stuff, it's been a lot of European, like a lot of people from like France or like where else? Like Spain, and then there's like some people in the UK, like we said, and then it'll be like South Korea or like always somewhere else. But only recently, people have like been sending me loads of links for like pages, fashion pages from the States, and that's when I've realized like the only thing that used to put me off before was like shipping costs and stuff. But now I'm like, some of the stuff is really worth it. Like,
The biggest thing about, at least for me, when I look at like UK brands and honestly any European brands, they care way more about the shape and the flow of the clothes. And then US shit is like brand heavy.
I feel like I've realized that in Europe, a lot of the materials seem really like high quality. And that's what I've noticed. Like a lot of the clothes, they might cost a bit more, but it's like they look legit.
Yeah, that's the thing about America. No one cares about quality. New York is a little different when it comes to that stuff, because a lot more people care about like high luxury stuff and the quality of their things. But in the average like American guy that's into fashion, they're buying like reps, super heavy, like
helpful, like as the brands is just like what people care about, like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the brands. Like Rick Owens reps right now are going diamond in the United States.
I feel like in the UK, a lot of the time it's like, I don't know. Well, a lot of the events that I've been going to recently, it's not even like brand like you're flexing. It's a lot of like individuality.
Yeah, but
like a lot of people have been trying on some like
London,
different stuff.
You're like, you just look at somebody, no brands, and you're like, that fit is clean as fuck. Like proportions going crazy, colors look nice together, and it's just like the pants fit on the shoes nice. New York, they'll look at it and be like, okay, purple denim, V on top, like Gucci shoes. This guy's going crazy.
Flexing, I hear it. Still, get the brands you're flexing, like
It's crazy different.
Do you feel like you were always like into fashion more than the average person? Like,
maybe. I feel like I've always liked to look different.
mm-hmm.
I think that's the case. Like, it's more of a thing of I've always wanted to just wear some crazy stuff. Like, I've always been that guy that, like, my friends would look at me and be like, if anyone was to wear that, it'd be you. Like, if anyone was to pull that off, it'd be you. And then I kind of just ran with it. Like, when I'd be doing a couple like shoots or modeling things, they put me in some stuff that typically I wouldn't wear, and then I'd let that kind of influence me and be like, okay, cool, that's cool. Like, and then I just became more open in a fashion sense of like willing to experiment with stuff. But I don't even like consider myself as like, obviously I know I can dress, but I don't think I'm like a stylish guy. Like, I'm trying to purposefully all the time. I'm kind of just putting on what I like, you know what I mean? I put on what I like, and like I said, I've been buying a lot of British shit, so I've just been right now I'm repping, do you know what I mean, all my videos. But like, even on some everyday stuff, it's like I don't wear just British shit all the time every day, but it's like on some everyday stuff, I just wear whatever looks nice, what feels good. And like, it feels like, it sounds so corny when people say it, but it feels like dressing is like a way of expressing like what's going on, how I'm feeling, what I'm trying to do, how I'm trying to have the day go. And like, if I've really got the right outfit on and I'm about business, I'll be about business, you know what I mean? So
what like advice would you give to people that's trying to experiment more? Like, take someone like myself, for example. Like, I 9 times out of 10 like flannels, t-shirts, but I try to look good, you know. I'm trying to elevate it a little bit.
But bro, I think any like style looks good if on the right person, do you know what I mean? I feel like that's the thing about style, it's unique, bro. But I
feel like it's just like another cliche too, but it's true. Is like, you just want to feel comfortable. Like, you're saying you want to put on some shit at the beginning of the day that is gonna make you about business. And like, when you step out, like, you can tell if some shit just doesn't fit right or just doesn't really feel right, and it's just throwing your whole day off.
Nah, that's the main point. But I think like, at the end of the day, it's always just about like, don't be afraid of what other people think, because like, you're gonna be pissed in 2 months when that is now the relevant thing, and everyone else is wearing it. You're like, oh, because you was too self-conscious to just take that risk.
Another question I had is more about like aesthetics. Is the all black aesthetic kind of something you've been doing for a while?
I don't do it on purpose. This is the thing. I actually like.
I'm wearing all black too. But
sometimes I actually like forget. But yeah, I feel like since I was young, I've always just liked wearing black. Like, I just think it looks clean. It's like my favorite shade. It's not color, but do you know what I mean? I like wearing black, so I've always done that. Always kind of. But then I've always at the same time, like, one day I will wear all black, and then one day if I want, I'll wear like a bright pink fur fucking hoodie, zip up hoodie type thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, I feel like you shouldn't really ever stick to one thing or be like, oh, that's my aesthetic, because you don't want to put yourself in one box and then people catch you out when you're wearing something different. Like, but yeah, I've just always dressed what I feel comfortable in and what I feel. And a lot of the time when I'm online or I'm buying things, I accidentally buy a lot of black. But when I do have a nice colorful piece, like, do
you feel like when you're putting a fit together, if there's less color, like if it's all black or something like that, do you try to do more with like proportions?
No, but it depends, because I've realized a lot of my clothes, even if they're all black, it'll be like a crazy sort of trouser or a crazy like jacket. It's more about, like you said, it's like the detail. So if there's actual something about the clothes that I make it nice, or even just like the
textures,
or even just the fit of a certain tracksuit, like. Don't get twisted. Like, I rock tracksuits all the time. Like, I've got some friends that literally like no, every day, like, I'm about that fashion. Like, you will see me in my the jeans, everything's lit. But like, I have some days where I'll wear whatever I want. But it's like, because I've bought so many things that I've kind of like figured out my style. It's like they're all kind of similar. I always end up in like a similar sort of shape or feel or vibe. But it all started as well from like just a lot of like thrifting and finding things. Like, I'd always just be interested in finding like a random jacket. I love crazy jackets. I feel like that was one of my like, it's like jackets, like boots and belts. So like,
have you always been like boots over sneakers type shit?
Yeah,
really.
I love, if I'm getting trainers, it's gonna be like TNs, or Air Forces or Babes. That's it.
I feel like so many people
lie.
here that really
Sneakers
get into clothes
heavy.
start with like being a sneakerhead.
Yeah, the thing is, because when I was dancing, I used to fuck up all of my shoes. Like, all of my shoes, I'd just be breaking. So all the time I was just getting TNs, trainers, getting them. And then like, I never really danced in boots. But then after a while, I got a couple docs, and I was like, yo, I'm like messing with these. And then started like experimenting with different things. But I just like, I don't know, it just makes me feel like, different. Like I'm not trying to get. I feel like when I wear trainers, I start doing some bullshit with my feet. Like I start
trying to get sturdy.
Do you know what I mean? I start twisting doing bullshit and like messing up my shoes. But when I'm wearing boots, I'm like,
Yeah.
You're grounded.
What about like the Tim's wave right now and shit like that?
Bro, I'll rock Tim's.
You rock Tim's a lot now?
not. I've had Tim's from before in it, so I've just kind of like in and out. But I was talking to somebody. I love like I want some like black spiky ones. There were some black spiky ones that someone made, like these custom things. Like they were on the side that looked hard, but bro, I feel like because every video I'm always wearing like all black, people can't imagine me like in some like baggy jeans or like a hoodie and like some Timbs and stuff. But yeah, bro, I'm with whatever.
When did the idea of a mixtape kind of just start, or even just putting out a full project at work?
I feel like when I went on my trip to LA, it was one of the ones where we was kind of just like experimenting with music, doing different things, and then that's when I heard like a specific song that I did called Stay, and that's when I heard the beat, and it's kind of like the whole tape kind of grew from that one track. It wasn't on purpose that I decided like, yo, I'm gonna do a whole alternative like experimental tape. Like there were rap songs that originally were gonna be on it, but it kind of started to sway more to one side, the sound. And I was like, you know what, I'd rather do a fully fledged tape like this and do what I want. And it was more of a thing of like seeing, like I said, X, like biggest song at the beginning, Look at Me, when Look at Me came out, it was like everyone was like, yo, like this is insane, like screaming, shouting, all that stuff. But then his tape 17, that's like one of the best for me, and that's the one where he was literally
definitely his best.
He was like pouring his heart out. He was letting everyone know what he's like, how he feels, what he wants to express, and he was showing people that he was more than just a rapper. He was an artist. Not to take anything away from rappers, but you know what I mean? He was showing that he is an artist as well.
Yeah. I feel like that was a really good idea because the project is very, very concise. And I think like the sounds mesh a lot together. And I feel like a lot of albums nowadays do jump around a little bit too much, more than like what they used to. But like the name itself, like I Hope You Never Fit In, like when did that... Was that always like the thing you had in your head?
No.
Or did that just come recently?
Nah, it was like
the you is yourself, right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. But it was just a thing of like, I don't know. I had like a couple different names, I guess. But there wasn't even, actually, I didn't have names. I kind of just had like feelings, like ideas. It was like, I want it to be like a long name. It's like, da-da-da-da-da. Like something, like, I don't know. I just wanted to feel like a storybook or like a chapter of something. And then it kind of just, we was literally just driving through London, and then I saw some graffiti, and it was like, it said that, and I was like, yo, like that, like it just spoke to me, and I was like, damn, like that's like, like that represents how I'm feeling, like that's like what I've done it, like I feel that before. And then I was just deep, and like I've had same conversations where people have told me things like that before, of like, nah, you don't need to fit in, like you never want to fit in, bro, like don't do it, and all this stuff. So it kind of just went into that feeling. But also just like I was saying before, it was more of an intention of, I hope you never fit in, being like, everyone expected me to do one sound for a tape, and it's like, I want people to know that like I didn't really give a fuck. I'm not doing it for streams or for like validation. It's more of a thing of like, I genuinely make music for the love of music and for the hope that people will hear it. So it's like, if I can make my first tape something that I really will always look back at and be proud of, then I don't care, like I'm gonna do that. And I know I can rap, I know I can do other stuff. So it's a thing of like, I've got shit loaded, I've got multiple tapes loaded, do you know what I mean, of different sounds. And like, I want to be an artist that can do a different sounds. I've realized a lot in the underground scene in the UK, the US, it's normal. Like there's a lot of artists that like dabble in different kind of sounds and switch it. Whereas in the UK, it's kind of like not as normal, except for if you blow. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I feel like I feel like it is definitely more in the US. I feel like there's a couple UK artists, or just like even in Europe. Like, I don't know. I feel like Slow Tie was pretty different. Like when his albums were a little bit like Young Lean was definitely very alternative and super different. But I mean, like yours is definitely, I mean, it gives me like hints of stuff like that, but it's also very like, just a little bit more like rock or grunge oriented than that. But still is like, gives like really ethereal vibes as well. So I felt like it was just overall very concise, and I thought the title matched it really well. And I think like people read it and kind of just be like, intrigued by the title alone, and like you could get like what you're gonna get into and the album just from that.
I feel like it just really made sense for like my first body of work, and like in my head, this isn't like this is my first EP, mixtape, whatever you want to call it, but it's not the album. Like when I drop an album, that is gonna be me bringing together all of my sides. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like I wanted this to be an EP showing one side to me. I want to be able to do like a 3-pack or a couple singles showing that I can do more than that, and like letting people know from the jump so that they don't get too attached to one sound or do this and do that, which is a risk. I know that's a risk as an artist, like not easily and straight away establishing my sound, but that's a risk. I need people to know that I'm taking it, I'm living the risk.
I mean, all the artists that you talked about earlier, people that you look up to, were ones that took that risk.
That's what I'm saying.
Some of them at like the biggest moment of their career, when they already had an audience that's expecting one thing.
Lil Wayne specific, do you know what I mean? Even with the rock up, bro, there's so many examples. So that's why when people kind of like look at me and they're like, "Are you sure?" It makes me even more.
You gotta just hope that they come with you. If they do, they do. But at the end of the day, you made a project that is authentic, that you fuck with, and people that rock with it are going to, and there's always an opportunity to grow your audience as well.
I know there's gonna be people that heard the first 3 songs, and will be like attached to that sound. But it's like I was 18, 19 at that point. Like that's how I felt in that moment. But it's like all of these artists that I admired, like Tyler and all these people, they had visible growth in their music, live, in the public. I didn't give a fuck. They don't care. And it's one of those ones where I feel like, even for myself, I'll feel so much prouder just to be able to look back and see my own development. And for that to be my first tape, I feel like really says something, even from the growth between my first single to my first tape. And then hopefully from this tape to the album, when I do that, it's like, I want people to show that I've really been working on a different side, but I haven't forgotten that other side. And when I do come back to it and bring it for the album, there's going to be a reason why I haven't been releasing loads of music in that style. It's because I'm really mastering it and trying to perfect it so that when I do drop it, it's not shit that next month I'm not listening to. Because if I can't listen to it, why am I going to expect you to listen to it? So it's one of those ones where like when you do hear that sound again and when you do see me coming about, like it's going to be different. Like that's why when we was out here, we're doing some freestyles and stuff, like I purposefully made the choice of being like, all right, cool, let me unleash it a little bit. Let me show people like I'm still doing whatever the fuck I want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What were the studio sessions like for the project? You recorded some of it in LA, right?
Yeah, we'd recorded the one song for the tape. There was a couple other ones that were potential songs for the tape, but the one song that stuck was from LA. But then a lot of the other ones were just ideas that started in my bedroom on my laptop. Me just literally staring at my wall at this one painting I've got, just constantly just messing about. It was my first apartment, moved out with my girlfriend and like 2 other of my friends. So it was like a creative spot. They're all dancers. It felt crazy. Cool. But every night I would just be there making ideas and then linking up with my engineer Ted, who literally has helped. Like I wouldn't be able to like fix this sound and do all of these things that I do unless like without Ted. I wouldn't be able to do it without him type stuff. But it's like, I just went to him with a lot of my ideas and we just kind of sieved through what was bullshit and what was legit. And then by the time I'd done that, that's when I'd gone back to my brother and my manager Marley and been like, okay, this is kind of where I'm trying to go with this tape. And he didn't even second guess it. He was like, this is serious. Like this is showing. I feel like he could even feel like this is the difference between someone who's doing this for fun and someone who's really trying to make a difference.
Yeah.
Do you know
I
what
really
mean?
like that you also didn't make the songs like stupid long. Like sometimes when people like try a new sound, they'll just like
drag it.
Like 6 minutes, 7-minute tracks or stuff like that. Like I feel like all of them are very concise, but I feel like the biggest thing, like a lot of them are very powerful songs too.
Thank you.
And like the instruments behind it kind of match that.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like the instrumentals and mixing, that was all like one person behind it.
The engineering and the mixing and mastering was like 2 people, but majority as well was by engineer Ted. But production, bunch of people. The initial idea was like, I hope you never fit in. I want to connect with every producer I've ever admired that like I'm like it does something different that I know the next person can't do what they do. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of just sieved through so many producers and made connections online or in real life with different people to try and make this project work. And I feel like all of the songs, like they might sound different or similar, but they all have like a cinematic feel. And that's what I was really big on. Like I really wanted it to feel big. Like I didn't want it to feel like, because it's just ideas from my bedroom, but I wanted it to sound like these are really ideas from a fucking massive studio with like that we've been here for days, like fucking stressed. But in reality, it's me at home, like fucking stressed the fuck out, like by myself or with Ted, and I'm just like pouring my heart out. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. So when dropping Swan Song, that like as the latest one, like was that just like one that you all really liked? Or was it one that was like...
That was like one of my favorite songs off the tape when I was recording it, and one of my favorites to perform. Like once last year I was performing it quite a bit for tape, just trying to like feel out what everyone was thinking of it and stuff. And that was like one of my favorites to perform. So yeah, we just really wanted to make sure that that was like a single before the tape to come out. And we've got one more, well, not a single, we've got a video that's dropping the same day as the tape, which is for the last song, Stay, which is another song that I thought was just like, well, not the last song of the tape, but then Oh Well is like the bonus. But yeah, that was like the big finale sort of thing.
Yeah. I feel like you have an interesting perspective on this because like you've obviously rapped and like made different music. Is songwriting harder than writing raps?
No.
Or vice versa?
I think songwriting is easier for me. It's easier for me to like express and not really feel restrained into like having to make this bit rhyme at this part, and it's easier for you to kind of feel. Whereas with rap, it's less feeling and more, it's still feeling, don't get it twisted, but on, let's say on the trap side, when I'm doing more trap music, it's more flexing. It's more like just feeling like I'm the shit, like I'm doing this shit, or I'm popping or talking my shit. And then when it's on some rap feeling shit, it's more of a thing of like, I really have to think about what I'm saying. I really have to I have to try and craft what I'm thinking so that it's in a way that people can really understand what I'm feeling, and it's not just me rambling bullshit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas with songs, I ramble so much bullshit and I sieve through it and just get all of the emotion out of it that it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like when I'm rapping, it feels like I'm writing, like I'm sitting here like this, and then when I'm making all my other songs, my experimental shit, and I'm singing, it feels like I'm fucking like in front of the art canvas, like slapping the paint at it, like I'm just fucking doing something crazy.
I feel like everyone has like a different way of making music. Then like I feel like if we were to ask like a lot of people like how they write songs, like it's just so different.
That's what
from what other people.
I've got a mad method. Like every song I do, I freestyle, and then I freestyle until I get like a demo of like, yo, that's the most put together sentences, like that makes the most sense to me, like that I can get the feeling, I read the emotion, and then from that demo I kind of finalize, like I kind of polish everything that I've done in that demo and like make it into the actual song.
How involved are like you and your engineer together when it's kind of like getting into that demo phase?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I have to be with him, really, because it's like anyone else, it can kind of be an awkward situation of me being like, yo, this session I'm not writing, I'm just gonna be freestyling a bunch of words and we're gonna piece all these things together to get like a big picture, and then I'm gonna write at home, come back, and then we're gonna record it. Whereas with him, he chops up all of my things. Like one take I'll just be singing my heart out, next take I'll be rapping, he'll be like, yo, that would be a sick verse, that would be a sick hook, and we kind of just mess about, and I feel comfortable to just sit in the back of the session with my headphones on for like 30 minutes, finish this song, and then by the time we get back in, it's like I've got that same feeling and emotion because we just done it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. In terms of just like the cover art and visuals behind it, how like important are those things to you?
I feel like for me, visuals is like the second biggest, like that's the most important thing. Obviously the music's the most important thing, but like that's the way I feel like artists are understood. I feel like that's the way the visual is seen. That's the way that like the picture's painted. Like that's when you really can separate, what's the difference, an artist from a creative, because some artists aren't even creative, which is crazy, and it sounds mad to hear, but there's some artists that aren't creative, just there. But the point is, like, visuals is something that I pay so much attention to because I know how many artists I ended up following their journey because of just one video, because of how they've presented themselves or made things look. And the same way with like even my cover art for the tape, we really went to Paris and was upside down on underneath a bridge. Do you know what I mean? Like we really went and did that, and we really went and caught the reactions of these people. Like we just wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Where do you feel like your like visual sense like really comes from? Like, do you watch a lot of films and stuff?
I do. I watch a lot of films, but yeah, maybe it's from a lot of films. I watch a lot of films. I watch a lot of everything, like films, documentaries, reality TV bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I kind of find inspiration from a bunch of little things. Do you know what I mean? And kind of sieve through it. But yeah, I wouldn't know. I'm trying to think where I get a lot of my inspiration from, in terms of. It's a lot of different things. It could be games. It can be like just a picture. Like there's a video that we did that was inspired by just like a picture I saw of a desk in a forest, and it just had like all moss over it and a computer. And I was like, yo, let's do a video with this as like the inspo. And then
What do you think makes you able to be like attentive enough to see something like a picture of like moss and get inspiration from that? Like, I feel like there's like a lot of things that regular people would just take for granted, or it would pass them by, but you seem like you have your eyes more.
I overthink everything, so it's like something that used to like be a burden. I used to hate that. I used to overthink about everything. Now it's kind of like a superpower, but at the same time it's like it can still like hinder me and make things hard. But it helps a lot with my music when it's good. Do you know what I mean? It helps a lot with really refining the songs and making it good, but it can also make me doubt a lot of my songs and like redo loads of my songs, rechange the idea for a video once we've shot it. Like, it will make me get to that place. But I think that's what separates me from other people. Do you know what I mean? My intention behind things, because like I planning some of these videos and some of these visuals so that when you look back in 6 years in that point in my career, it's got something to do with that. Like, they're connected in some way, and these things make sense, and that I'm building a world from now. I'm not afraid to come across as a bit deluded sometimes, even though I'm aware enough to know that, like, yo, we can't all be a star, but I see myself being something, and I'm not willing to like settle.
Like, how does weed like play into your creative process?
It's not be all and end all, but I smoke a lot. That's the thing.
It's interesting because you were talking about like being a person that you said, like, for better or worse, you're an overthinker.
Yeah.
And like, it's a interesting substance that like some people, it makes them overthink more, and like other people, it kind of calms that down.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like when I was younger, like, I've always had a lot of issues with like my ADHD and like things like that. Like, I've been told that I'm on the spectrum, like. But there's little things that, like, I feel like I've kind of self-medicated in a way with weed, which is really bad, I know, but it really has helped me deal with a lot of issues in my life that, like, I really get sensory overload. Like, some things can really, like, bug me out if I'm asked to do loads of things at a time, or there's lots going on, or even things in my own head, like, I'll stress over things, or how, even, like, let's say you asked me a question and I ignored it for a second by accident, I'll be stressing over, like, how that interaction came across, and like just little things. But I felt like smoking in a weird way has kind of leveled things out, because I wasn't bad enough, they would say, for me to get medication, but it was bad enough for me to be really struggling in school and in different places. But it's also understanding and being willing to know that that is not really my medication, and that that's not something that I need to survive. It's a tool, and it's not the be all and end all. Do you know what I mean? So it's really like my friend said to me once, it was tapped. I've remembered it rest my whole life. He said, like, you like smoke the weed, but don't let it smoke you. So it's like, bro, I'll never let it smoke me. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm in a position where I can't afford it, it's not gonna happen. If I'm in a mental position where it's genuinely having an effect on me, then you have to cut it out. Do you know what I mean? Because it's really just having those moments of knowing when to cut your losses. Do you know what I mean? But where it helps.
I mean, I feel like for me, it's funny when you're talking about the thing, like, oh, if I like missed a question, and then you would like overthink it, but weed kind of mellows you out. I do smoke often, but I'm kind of
the opposite effect. I know, like, so many people say that to me as well.
Like, I would be blunt, like, damn, bro, like I shouldn't have said that to him, or like whatever. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
But I feel like where it really helps, and like, it was just like, if I'm more stressed out, like bigger thing, like work, whatever, it kind of makes me more like optimistic, or like, you know, look back, reflect, see that you're doing well. Going in the right direction. Tomorrow's a different day. Because
if you use it in the right way, it can be a really useful tool, especially for creatives. Like, when I was in the dance industry, it was really easy for me to see how it could help creatively for dancers. And then it's also very easy for me to see in the music industry how it can help some people. But then a lot of people are afraid to say that it's a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like it can be a problem in certain places in certain ways, but it's just really about always being aware. That's the thing.
Yeah,
like I can talk all this shit and preach and be like, I know I need to, but at least I just hope that I can at least be self-aware. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like everyone knows people that's like smoke and they're like they live a perfectly fine life, but they also everybody knows people that
they shouldn't be smoking
and weeds just negatively really impact their life.
Yeah,
and become just like lazy, unperformative people. Like it just really depends. And I think
but that's with a lot of things. It could be
exactly,
with alcohol as well.
Exactly.
Like, there's a bunch of things.
It's like being self-aware and realizing that it's just like one substance, and then there's also like you could have the exact same habits for endless negative products out there as well. Like it's still like it's just like one thing though. But I agree. I think self-awareness is definitely like the main thing to it, and especially 100%. If it comes to the point where it's kind of like making
stopping you from
or like
doing
you
stuff.
Feel like you have to do it.
Yeah.
To do certain life things. Like I'll have like old homies that were like, I'd have to smoke before I eat. Or like I have to smoke before I exercise.
The thing is, like now, I've not smoked. I'm hungry, but it's like sometimes it's like you want to do it to make it better, but it's like one of them ones where if it came down to it, I'm eating right. I'll eat right now. But there's some people like you said, like they will refuse. They will refuse. They'll be like, I'm not eating until. But if someone said to me like, I ain't no time to smoke, I'll be like, cool, like, I'll eat. Do you know what I mean? But
that's what I feel like it gets to that certain.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for mine. You got any more questions?
Yeah, I mean, we've been going for a minute, bro. I appreciate your time.
Nah, bro, I'm glad to be here.
Appreciate your team's time. I know you
Thanks.
guys have been waiting patiently.
I hope y'all good back there.
Tape coming soon.
Yeah, bro.
We're going to have all of his stuff, all his socials in our description. We're going to have our socials there as well. Make sure y'all get in tune. If you're not, if you watch this long, please subscribe. We appreciate you guys. That's it.
Peace. Come on. Love.